Kyoto tea has a long and storied history, and it's still one of the most famous tea producing regions in Japan. In this video, we're going to be talking about how tea was first brought to Kyoto and how it became intertwined with Japanese history throughout the last 1,000 years. We'll track the journey of tea, as it goes from being a drink for only a select few to one that's enjoyed by people all around Japan. Before we get started, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for future tea videos. We have hundreds of videos on all sorts of topics related to Japanese green tea, but for this episode, we're going to stick to the history of Kyoto tea. Without further ado, let's get started. The first records of tea consumption date back not to Kyoto, but to Nara, the first permanent capital of Japan. Tea wasn't grown here, but it was brought back from China by the Japanese monks, as they would travel to learn about Buddhism from the Chinese monks. Our journey of Kyoto tea history begins at the grounds of Kozanji Temple. It was here that for the first time the monks not only brought back tea, but also tea seeds to be planted on the temple grounds. A monk named Eisai is credited for being the first to bring back tea seeds from China in 1191. This small tea field outside of the temple is considered one of Japan's first tea plantations. Kozanji Temple is located just a few miles northwest of Kyoto, so this can be considered the start of Kyoto tea. At the time, tea was primarily consumed by the monks. They found that this drink gave them energy during long periods of meditation. We now know that this is because of the combination of caffeine and L-theanine in the tea. The caffeine acts as a stimulant, but the L-theanine slows the absorption of the caffeine, giving you a longer lasting energy throughout the day, with less of this jittery feeling. L-theanine is also thought to stimulate alpha brainwave activity, the same brainwaves stimulated during meditation. This makes the drink the perfect partner for long periods of work, study, and meditation. It's no wonder why the drink became so popular amongst the monks. Soon, Eisai made another contribution to Japanese green tea by writing the book Kisei Yojoki, or How to Stay Healthy by Drinking Tea. This popularized the drink amongst the upper classes, who wanted to take advantage of the health properties of tea. Tea became not just an obscure beverage drunk in the temples, but also a luxury good consumed by the upper classes. At the time, factions in Japan not only competed for territory and wealth, but also prestige and culture. Tea became a fixture to demonstrate their culture, and the wealthy and powerful would throw elaborate tea ceremonies around Kyoto to showcase their extensive teas and teaware. One shogun named Ashikaga Yoshimasa built the famous silver pavilion just outside of Kyoto as a showcase of wealth. He would host elaborate tea ceremonies here with the best tea he could find. At the time, tea was being produced around Kyoto, but it was still considered a luxury good. Soon a man known as Senno Rikyu came along with a more humble vision of what the tea ceremony should be. Instead of taking place in a palace, he opted for a more rustic setting, a small tea room tucked away into the countryside. The tea room would be modestly decorated, so as not to distract from the intent of the tea ceremony. The tea ceremony would involve the preparation of matcha, or powder tea, according to a strict set of rules and principles. This ritual would be designed to promote purity, harmony, respect, and tranquility within the host and the guest. Senno Rikyu's vision became the modern Japanese tea ceremony we know today. This made tea more popular and accessible around the country, and it also solidified the area around Kyoto as the epicenter for Japanese green tea. If you visit Uji or Kyoto today, you can take part in a traditional Japanese tea ceremony, modeled after Senno Rikyu's original vision. At the time, matcha was the primary way to consume green tea, but it was soon overtaken by leaf teas like sencha. Around the area of Uji and Kyoto, you can see many signs of this. This house in Uji-Towada is the childhood home of Nagatani Soen, the inventor of sencha tea. This invention made it easier for more people to prepare their own green tea at home, with less teaware. Instead of the tea ceremony utensils, all they needed was a simple teapot and cup to prepare great tasting tea at home. A stone pillar in Ogura marks where Gyokuro tea was first discovered. This extremely sweet and savory tea is shaded for 3 weeks before the harvest to improve its flavor. This is yet another discovery made around Kyoto that revolutionized the tea industry. Gyokuro soon became the most sought after leaf tea in Japan because of its unique sweet and savory flavor. Kyoto is also where hojicha, or roasted tea, was first discovered. This tea has much warmer flavors of coffee, caramel, and chocolate, and you can sometimes still see it being roasted in street markets around Uji and Kyoto, particularly in the colder months. While Kyoto doesn't produce a large quantity of tea, it has always been a hotbed of tea innovation. A farmer named Mr. Noike wanted to continue this long tradition of Kyoto tea by moving out here from the big city to enjoy a more peaceful life in the Japanese countryside. Instead of growing tea on a large plot of land, Mr. Noike has decided to focus on quality over quantity. He tends to this small 1-hectare tea field in the middle of a pine forest. These tall trees provide the tea plant with partial shading throughout the day, making the teas produced by Mr. Noike sweeter and smoother. The Noike matcha is an excellent Kyoto tea for beginners, as it has a smooth flavor with much less bitterness and a more affordable price tag. The Noike hojicha is a sweeter hojicha that plays more on the caramel and milk chocolate notes, without much of these dark, smoky flavors. It's great to see farmers like Mr. Noike who are willing to carry on the mantle and continue this long, proud history of Kyoto tea. I hope you have all enjoyed this video on the history of Kyoto tea. If you would like to try some Kyoto tea from Mr. Noike, it would not only help to support this channel, but it would also help us to support the dozens of talented farmers we work with. We hope that by sharing high-quality, pesticide-free green tea with people all around the world, we can shift the tea industry into a more positive direction. If you have any questions about green tea or tea in general, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time.